Erich Fromm believed that one of the greatest forces within humanity is hope. Not the shallow hope that waits passively for miracles, but a deep, active hope, a conviction that life can be changed through effort, courage, and imagination. For Fromm, hope is not a luxury. It is a necessity for survival, a power that allows people to endure suffering while striving for a better future. Without hope, he argued, we fall into despair, cynicism, or blind obedience to authority. With hope, we open the door to human potential and to visions of utopia. Fromm lived through some of the darkest times in modern history. He saw the rise of Nazism, the horrors of war, and the alienation produced by modern capitalism. Yet, despite witnessing destruction, he insisted on defending the possibility of renewal. He often reminded his readers that human beings are not fixed creatures. Unlike animals, we are not simply determined by instinct. We are capable of shaping our destiny, of creating a world that reflects our highest values instead of our lowest fears. Hope, therefore, was not naive optimism, but a radical stance, the refusal to accept injustice as permanent. Fromm linked hope with the idea of utopia. To him, utopia was not a childish fantasy or an unreachable dream. It was a horizon, a guiding vision of what humanity could become if it chose cooperation over domination, love over hatred, and being over having. He warned against those who ridiculed utopian thinking, saying that every real step forward in human history began as a dream others called impossible. The abolition of slavery, the struggle for democracy, the demand for human rights, all were utopian before they became reality. Yet Fromm was not a blind dreamer. He criticized false utopias built on technology, consumerism, or authoritarian control. A world where machines solved every problem, or where people were promised happiness through endless consumption, was not a true utopia to him. Instead, it was another form of alienation, a place where humans lost their creativity and dignity. Real utopia, Fromm argued, must be grounded in human potential, in the development of compassion, freedom, and responsibility. This belief brought him to the idea of humanistic socialism. He did not mean socialism as a cold, bureaucratic system, but as a society organized around the growth of the human spirit. In such a society, the economy would serve people rather than enslave them. Work would be meaningful, not soul-crushing. Relationships would be based on love and solidarity rather than competition. To Fromm, the true utopia was not about perfect order or endless pleasure, but about creating the conditions in which every individual could unfold their unique potential. At the center of this vision was Fromm's faith in human nature. He rejected the view that people are doomed to selfishness and violence. Certainly, he admitted, destructiveness and cruelty exist, but they are not destiny. Given the right social conditions, communities of support, freedom of thought, and meaningful participation in life, people can grow into beings of creativity, kindness, and reason. Human potential is not a guarantee, but a possibility, and it requires hope to bring it into reality. Fromm distinguished between passive hope and active hope. Passive hope sits back and waits, trusting that someone else or some external force will solve humanity's problems. Active hope, on the other hand, takes responsibility. It means planting seeds even when the harvest is uncertain. It means fighting for justice even when defeat seems likely. It means believing in the possibility of change and working toward it, not because success is certain, but because the struggle itself affirms life. For Fromm, this active hope was the only real path toward utopia. He also warned about the danger of hopelessness. When people lose hope, they turn to destructive substitutes, authoritarian leaders who promise order, consumer goods that numb their emptiness, or violence that distracts from despair. Without hope, societies collapse into apathy or cruelty, but with hope, even small communities can become centers of renewal. Fromm saw this in grassroots movements, in acts of solidarity, and in the simple courage of individuals who refused to surrender to fear. In this way, Fromm's philosophy remains deeply relevant. In times of uncertainty, People are tempted either by despair or by illusions of easy salvation. Fromm invites us to a third path, to cultivate hope as a discipline, to imagine utopia as a guiding star, and to unlock the immense potential within the human spirit. This is not a call to escape reality, but to transform it. To live with hope is to live fully, refusing both despair and false comfort, and instead embracing the creative challenge of building a better world. To continue Fromm's vision, we must look deeper into what he meant by human potential. He believed that each person carries within them the seeds of creativity, reason, and love. These qualities are not automatically realized. They require nurturing, practice, and the right environment. In unhealthy societies, these seeds are neglected, leaving people insecure and alienated. But in communities that encourage growth, human beings can flourish, living not just as consumers or workers, but as creators and participants in life's meaning. Fromm often pointed out that modern society confuses having with being. People are taught to measure their worth through possessions, status, or appearances. Yet this culture of having does not awaken human potential, it stifles it. Instead of living authentically, individuals become trapped in competition, always comparing, always anxious. The utopia Fromm envisioned was not a land of endless possessions, but a society where being, the joy of loving, creating, and growing, takes precedence over having. Only in this shift can the true depth of human potential be unlocked. At the heart of this transformation is hope as a discipline. Fromm compared hope to an inner muscle. It grows stronger only through exercise. Just as an artist must practice their craft daily, so must we practice hope in our lives. This means choosing patience in the face of difficulty, compassion in the face of cruelty, and creativity in the face of monotony. Hope is not wishful thinking. It is an act of courage. It is deciding to build the world we want, even if the results will not be seen in our lifetime. Fromm also stressed the importance of education and culture. He believed schools should do more than produce efficient workers. They should cultivate human beings who are curious, critical, and compassionate. In a utopian vision, education would teach children not only facts, but also how to think independently and how to live meaningfully. Art, music, philosophy, and community would be central, not pushed aside as luxuries. In this way, education becomes the soil in which human potential grows strong and resilient. Another crucial aspect of Fromm's thought was community. He warned that modern people often feel isolated, cut off from others, and trapped in loneliness. This alienation leads to despair and passivity. But when people come together in communities of solidarity, they discover hope. A single voice may feel powerless, but when joined with others, it can spark movements that transform society. Fromm's utopia was not an individual escape, but a shared journey, where hope was sustained through bonds of love and cooperation. Fromm also paid close attention to the dangers of false utopias. He saw how authoritarian regimes promised heaven on earth while delivering repression and violence. He saw how consumer culture promised happiness through buying more, but left people emptier than before. For him, a real utopia could not be imposed from above or sold in advertisements. It had to grow from within people themselves, from their capacity for reason, love, and hope. True utopia was not a blueprint, but a living process, a constant striving to realize the best in humanity. This brings us to Fromm's call for radical humanism. He urged people to place human dignity, creativity, and compassion at the center of life. In radical humanism, the question is not, what can I gain? But how can I become more fully human? How can I contribute to the growth of others? In this vision, the economy and technology are tools, not masters. They are guided by human values, serving life rather than dominating it. A society built on radical humanism would be dynamic, imperfect, and evolving, but always moving toward greater freedom and deeper humanity. Fromm's vision of hope, utopia, and human potential remains a challenge to us today. It asks us to resist despair, to question false promises, and to cultivate within ourselves the discipline of hope. It asks us to imagine boldly, to see beyond the limits of what is, and to act as though a better world is possible. This is not easy. It requires patience, courage, and faith in the hidden capacities of human beings. But to Fromm, it is the only path worth taking. A life without hope is a life without direction. A society without utopia is a society without vision. And a humanity that denies its potential condemns itself to stagnation. In the end, Fromm left us with a powerful message. Hope is a choice, utopia is a horizon, and human potential is a treasure waiting to be unlocked. We may never reach a perfect world, but in striving for it, we become more human. By practicing hope, by daring to dream of utopia, and by cultivating the seeds of love and reason within us, we step into our true power. This was Fromm's enduring faith, that despite history's darkness, the human spirit can still shine, and that our potential, once awakened, can create a world worthy of its name.